Excellent. Hello, everyone. I'm here with my friend Joseph Cubas. Joe for friends, right, Joe?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
just a little bit before we start about your career, Joe is a state certified and FHA approved appraiser with 30-year track record in the industry, founded and operated a full service appraisal practice for the past 20 years with extensive experience in residential properties, including complex custom state homes, ADUs, income properties up to 4 units. Also, Joe specializes in comprehensive operations for various needs, including state trusts, date of death, litigation purposes, bankruptcy, divorce, and personal use, including pre-listings, which is properties that are going to be on the market soon, second opinion appraisals, cash buyers, and for some uh, properties that are going to go on the market that are probably hard to, I would say, hard to provide a value to. Joe provides personal agent consultation for listing price, appraisal reviews, and bidding price advice. Did I miss anything, Joe?
No, that was very complete. Good job.
You have a very impressive career, my friend. So I wanted to make sure that I got everything on my introduction. Let's start with a simple. I would probably say it's simple, but that question that will describe more what you do and what we need an appraisal. What is an appraisal? Why do we need an appraisal?
Well, an appraisal you would need for various reasons. For one, if you're purchasing a property, the lenders want to know that the property is worth what you're actually buying the property for. So an appraisal is for lender purposes. At that point, we're like the guarantee to them that the property is worth the value that they're actually lending money on. Okay. Now, when it comes to a homeowner, when they what they would need an appraisal for. There's various reasons they would need an appraisal. And an appraisal they could actually use for if they're going through a separation and they want to know what the property is worth. If they're thinking about selling the home and they want to know what the value of the home is, would be one of the reasons. If they're going through a bankruptcy, their attorney might require them to get an appraisal. And if one of the spouses passes away, that would be another reason they would need an appraisal.
Usually, I describe homeowners a little bit of the difference between what we provide as realtors, which is a CMA, a comparative market analysis, that is very different to an appraisal, which is more complete, more information. Could you touch briefly on the difference between the two of them and how your services can enhance or I mean determine a better value of the property?
Yes, with an appraisal, we do a visual observation of the property. We actually measure the home to get the exact square footage. That way, there's no issues on the square footage. It's actually recorded in public records, but public records is not always accurate. So, and then older homes, a lot of people do additions that might not be reflected in public records. So for that reason, we actually do a visual inspection of the interior to get the exact number of bedrooms and baths. We measure the home to get the exact square footage. And then we also take into consideration location appeal, anything that might have a market reaction to the property as far as value and any upgrades the property has that would generate additional income of the property or additional value.
Okay, okay. Now, what are the benefits that can an appraisal provide to us as realtors and to our clients, whether it's buyers or sellers?
Okay, for you realtors, there's a couple of reasons why you would need an appraiser. For one, if you have a complex property and has a lot of upgrades or it's one of the larger homes in the area, and you don't have comparables to kind of compare that property for, that would be a reason for an appraisal. If you have a homeowner that wants to sell his property and he's thinking he would like to sell it for a lot more than what you feel it's worth from your CMA, from what the sales support, then at that point you could order a pre-listing appraisal, which is an appraisal that will not only give you the true value of the property, but will also give you the documentation you need to help support the listing price for that one property. So, and then for the agents that have listings that are not selling, I call them stale listings that have been on the market for a couple of days and they're getting no activity, then you could order a second opinion appraisal. And the second opinion appraisal will, it's kind of similar to the pre-listing appraisal, but the fact that the property's been on the market, it will give you, once again, the true value of the property and give you the documentation you need to help support a strategic price adjustment if needed. And also will give you a listing price range of what the property should sell for with the listing prices of a standard marketing time or for a quick sale.
How long would you say, or is it determined how long will the appraisal be good for? Because markets may change. Lately, they haven't changed so much fast enough, I would say. But sometimes markets change from month to month. Sometimes take a little longer. How long will the appraisal be good for?
Okay, that's a really good question because you're right. We're in a shifting market and things affect this market so quickly. By just a rumor of rates dropping, all of a sudden, people get excited about the market and they start
Yeah.
looking. And it's some crazy times that we're living in, but appraisals are typically good for 3 months because if for some reason something shifts in the market, we don't see a result of it until sales start recording and properties start getting listed. Um, Recorded sales, which are sales that have sold, are what determines the property values. And there's other factors that we take into consideration, which is also listings within the neighborhood. Because if there's a home that's listed that is similar model match, let's say to our property, and it's listed for, let's just say 500,000 and it's not selling, then that would be an indication that the value of that home is not at 500,000 anymore, especially if we do have sales that supported that. But if the sales are slightly dated, let's say up to 6 months, then that would indicate that we're in a shifting market. So at that point, we actually use listings as far as supporting indicators to determine what the value of the property is.
Mm. I was actually under the impression that it may be up to 6 months, but that's great information, up to only 3 months. As a realtor, sometimes well, not sometimes, I would say more than that, almost every time, home sellers will think that their property, for some reason, it's worth more than the property across the street that just sold for X price.
Yes.
Uh, what would you advise to home owners that are thinking of a future sale? What would be a good investment for them to increase the value of their home?
There's a lot of things that they can do to increase the value of their property. And it's all about presentation, how the property looks. Drive-by curb appeal is very important. So you want to make sure that you're maintaining the front yard. The grass is green. Let's say you clean the windows, water everything down, make it very presentable. Because when someone drives up to a property, that's the first thing they're going to look at. And if the property has a good curb appeal, then they'll be interested in going inside and seeing what it has. Then flooring is one of the major upgrades you could add to a home if you're thinking about selling and you're probably trying to get your home ready for a presentation. Flooring is a big factor. Windows, dual pane windows is also something that increases value of a property. Interior paint, kitchens, bathroom remodels. Removing a lot of the clutter is usually very important, and not just inside, but around the property. Most people, when they're looking at a home, they walk around the property. You want to put as minimal stuff out there as possible, and including in the interior. You want to make the place look wide open. And the number one investment you could actually do to a property to increase the property's value is an ADU. An ADU will give you the highest return on investment for a property. I mean, you could add a pool to your property, you could add a remodeled kitchen, bathrooms, all the other I items I had mentioned, let's say, but the thing is, you don't get a dollar per dollar return on your investment with those. But with an ADU, you actually do.
I lately we see a lot of properties with ADUs or sellers or homeowners, I would say, trying to get ADUs for the properties. What would you say would be an average of increase in value when a seller opts to build an ADU on their property?
Okay, that would depend on the cost of the ADU because there's a junior ADU, which a junior ADU is pretty much a garage conversion. You have a garage and you decide to convert it. It's attached to the home or even detached, and you're going to convert it into let's say a studio unit or even a one bedroom. I've seen some where they're one bedroom and they function, really nicely. A junior ADU typically runs you about 75,000 to do, depending on the quality and condition of the materials you use. So it could be anywhere from 75 to maybe 120,000. That's what it increases your value of that amount. Typically, it's more on the higher end of the range. I usually say the average I'm seeing for a junior ADU is about 75 to maybe 125,000 in value increase. Now, if you go with a detached ADU, which those could go as high as two bedrooms or even a detached, let's say you have a larger lot and you could get one on the corner of your lot, those typically run about 200 to 300,000 in
Wow.
value to construct. And from what I've noticed, that it does increase the value to that amount of what you're actually using. Now, if you're being a little more conservative and you want to be at the lower end at 200,000, you might still be able to get between 200 to 250,000 in an increase in value. That's why I'm saying it's the best return on investment for your property. Instead of going out there and buying, let's say you have a little bit of extra income and you're thinking about buying a condo as a rental property, it would probably be better for you. The average condo in the valley is what, about 450, 500? Where if you have a property with a larger lot and you could add an ADU for 250,000, that's definitely a bigger investment that you would be able to do. And at that same time, you could generate income from that
Right.
one property. So that's like the highest and best use of your property that you currently have.
Excellent. Wow. Yeah, I wasn't sure how much, but it's as you said, almost dollar for dollar. So it's incredible. Joe, where can people find you if they have more questions or they want to use your services?
You could actually look up my name or call me directly or reach out to you, let's say. Uh,
Okay.
my website is appraisalzoom.com. It's currently under construction right now, but within the next, I would say, week or so, it should be up and running.
And
Um,
we should just say that we are doing this October 16th. So in just a few days, it will be up and running.
that is correct. And
Okay.
then you could look up Joseph Kubas appraiser, and I should be able to come up on Google, and or call me directly on my cell number. Is it okay to give you my cell number?
Of course, my friend. Go for it.
It is area code 818-632-0651. I cover all of Los Angeles and Ventura County areas.
I'm also going to put your information underneath on the notes of this video so people can have your cell phone number, and when that uh, website is ready, have the link to directly see your website and contact you from there. I have probably another 1,000 questions about appraising, but I'm sure you have your time is limited, so I don't want to abuse your time. But it's been really helpful to touch bases with you and get these questions answered because I know a lot of home sellers that are looking into uh, future or home owners looking into a future sale will have the same questions. I really appreciate your time and I thank you very much for it. And I hope we can do business again.
Absolutely. I look forward to it. And the key thing, especially with a lot of homeowners out there, property values are changing a lot, and including the market that we're in. And the key to a successful sale, if you're thinking about selling a property, is accurate pricing. So with an appraisal, you actually find out what the true value of your property is. So then at that point, when you're talking with your agent or interviewing different agents, you have that advantage knowing what the value of your property is. And if you want to get your property sold, it's the way to actually do it nowadays, rather than having to deal with the property being listed for, let's say, days or weeks on the market and having all these different price reductions. It doesn't make sense in this market to actually do that process.
Excellent point. Excellent point, my friend. I could have said it better myself.
Excellent. Well, Raul, it was a pleasure.
All
Appreciate you.
mine, all mine. And you know, I will share this with all my clients and people that check my website. I will share this video and your information. With I've used Joe in the past, and I would say he's the utmost professional on his field in his field, and I will recommend him to anyone watching to use his services. Thank you very much again, Joe. Pleasure having you in, and I'll be talking to you soon.
Very well. I appreciate you too. God bless you.
Same here. Take
Thanks.
care.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.